Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Mass Effect. In the last episode, we successfully, well, I was going to say we did bring down the sky, which is a really odd name, because actually the other thing we actually did was specifically stopped the sky from being brought down. But anyway, yeah, we foiled a group of Batarian extremists who were trying to crash an asteroid into a planet. And this episode, we are now going to be getting on with some more side quests, hopefully two this episode. It's going to be one of those ones, though the second one I hope to is really short. Anyway, we're going to be coming to a system that we have been to once before, but not done much in. Going to the Kepler Verge, and the system we haven't been to at all is the Newton system.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
I've received some troubling information, Commander. We need your help. Someone is killing former Alliance scientists. There have been 4 deaths in the past month.
Former scientists? Sounds like someone has a project they'd like to keep secret.
All 4 scientists worked on a classified project on Akuz. There was a brutal massacre there years ago. An entire unit was killed by Thresher Maws. It was classified as a natural hazard, but the project dates coincide with the attacks.
That can't be a coincidence.
There was one other scientist on the project, Dr. Wayne. I'm transmitting his last known coordinates. Good luck. 5th Fleet out.
So, this quest is another one of those ones where we got it on Noveria, and it's called Doctor at Risk, but also if you just enter the system, you'll get it from Hackett anyway. There are a couple of planets we can quickly scan here. There is Glencory here, which when scanned gives us... Scans the planet Glencory revealed a cockpit of a Volus trading vessel. There are no signs of the rest of the ship, but the salvage team discovered one of Matriarch Dylanaga's writings. So that's useful. Here's an interesting thing as well. As I mentioned, I only read out the ones that are of vague interest, but this one, Glencory, specifically the second paragraph. Glencory is famously claimed by the eccentric Volus billionaire Kumun Shal. He claims that a vision of a higher being told him to seek on Glencory the lost crypts of beings of light. These entities were supposedly created at the dawn of time to protect organic life from synthetic machine devils. That one just particularly amuses me as well, but you know me, I keep talking about this, like, things like Lost Civilization, stuff like that, always just just interest me for whatever reasons. Anyway, if we scan Junkro as well, we get a deposit of hydrogen. But what we're really aiming for is this planet here, Ontarom. So let's land upon it. Though Ontarom's surface is uncomfortably hot, its nitrogen-oxygen atmosphere and abundant shallow seas make it an ideal candidate for habitation by most known species. Unfortunately, the orbit of the moon Thonal has been slowly decaying since the system coalesced. Its proximity is beginning to have tidal effects, and its dynamo-like revolution through Ontarom's magnetic field is generating increasingly powerful electric storms. While some have suggested emplacement of Mass Effect drives in an attempt to lighten the moon and correct its orbit, the scale of such a project, tens of thousands of drives costing enough to bankrupt all the governments of all the Citadel races, make it a pipe dream. A multiracial effort is currently underway to catalogue and preserve the unique genetic diversity of Ontarom's vibrant young biosphere. Exogeny Corp and Huiyan Genomics represent the Alliance's share of the efforts. And indeed, if you look into the skies, you can see there is the moon. It's pretty much falling into the planet and ripping it apart and causing electrical storms as it does it. Fairly cool. Anyway, what we're going to do is head down to the southeast to the kind of point that's down there. And now we're here, we don't hear anything, we see something mildly interesting. Space beetles! I think these are on, maybe it's only this planet, it's definitely, no, I think I'm thinking of space cows that are on multiple planets. I think these ones are only on this planet, or I have a feeling they were on one of the planets that we did for the Geth Incursions quest a while back and we missed them. But anyway, it's unclear what happened to this Turian. He had an ancient paper book with the Bostra Outpost insignia printed on the cover. And that's our second to last Turian insignia, I think. My voice went really high there, but I think we've got most of the Turian insignias now. Anyway, if we continue on down to the southeast, then we'll get to the next point along there. Geographically, I think Ontarom is one of my favourite planets in Mass Effect, because basically, not only is it really easy to drive around in the Mako, because that's the classic thing of grass telling you where you can drive and where you can't, but I really like, but if you look at the map, you can kind of see it, that it's basically it's a mixture of really deep, kind of long, like U-shaped valleys, and these kind of really high, flat plateaus. It actually reminds me a lot of Scotland, where I live, so it's kind of, I guess that's why I feel a bit of an affinity with it. But it's also the fact you've got the crazy kind of electrical storm thing going on, like if we look over to the edge of this, you can just see... of course it's not doing it. There we go, there was some lightning, which is pretty cool. Anyway, you can see there are enemies down here, and I'm not actually going to cut, because the point you can see there down to the south south, even I was going to say southeast or southwest, but it's just the south, is where we're heading to, but you get an unrivaled sniper position from here, which is really useful, and I've got my big bad sniper rifle, so I'm going to test that out here for a bit, because, wait for it, oh, explosion! Oh, that dude went flying! I will never get bored of this. Dude thinks he's safe behind cover. Boosh! I've been waiting, 40 episodes for this combo, and I finally got it, and it's everything I dreamed it was going to be. Whee! As long as you can get used to the bleeping of the thing, because it overheats with every single shot, but it's totally worth it. Anyway, with that finally taken care of, there are a few more enemies that only appear when you get closer. They're on the map, but they're just not actually out yet. Let's just kill them with the real mass accelerator cannon, because the sniper rifle one, whilst cool, isn't quite that powerful. It can't destroy boxes. If only. Anyway, just before we go in, actually, oh, there's a mercenary here still. Oh, did I just miss him there with that entirely? Well, yeah, I'm just going to level up these dudes quickly, because, yeah, I brought Kaidan and Liara. Don't know if I kind of mentioned that or not. We'll give Kaidan the final 2 points in Sentinel, and we'll give Liara 1 in Throw and 1 in Warp. Ooh, equipment, you say? Okay, that's mildly okay stuff. I forgot I got the Geth Pulse Rifle on my back. Anyway, building. So inside, you'll basically just be fighting your way through a large mess of Ooh, is that Inferno rounds? Inferno rounds are like the upgraded Incendiary rounds. They do a bit more damage to accuracy, I think. But yeah, you're just fighting various types of mercenaries through here. And actually, even though it might not be advisable in close range, I'm going to stick on my sniper just because it's not really a sniper anymore. So, oh, I don't think I'll ever get bored of that for the rest of the series. Oh, that's brutal. Anyway, I'll cut the rest of this out. Whoa, I don't even know where he went. Oh, this sniper rifle combo, man. I'm just, it's going to keep me entertained. I think, honestly, I would go as far as to say for the rest of the game, because every time I do it and someone just goes flying into the ceiling while on fire. Oh, it's brilliant. It's the coolest thing shy of actually having biotics in this game. That's locked. How unusual. It's almost like they've changed the kind of basic layout of the levels in this. Anyway, if we come through here.
Stay back! I've got no grief with you. All I want is this bastard.
Please! He's a madman! Mr. Toombs, you're insane! You need help!
It's Corporal! Corporal Toombs! You don't get to lie! Not today! Today it all comes out!
What are you talking about? Why do you want to kill this man?
Want? What I want is my life back. I want to go to sleep without screaming in my dreams. I want the people who sent me to Akuze brought to justice.
Can't you see that Toombs is crazy? Shoot him!
But if I can't get that, I'll have to settle for killing the men who took my life away.
So here you do have the option to shoot Toombs if you think he's a crazy madman. I would show alternative footage, but I forgot to save before coming in here, and the last time I saved was before I did Bring Down the Sky, because this is the same recording session, and I'm not playing through all of that again, unfortunately, to have to record the old footage. It's not really worth it. So I unfortunately won't be able to show that, so let's just kind of carry on with finding out what happened between Toombs? It is Toombs, yeah. I thought it was called Coombs for some reason there. Anyway, enough of my shit.
What did the doctor do to you, Corporal?
We were on Akuze. When the Thresher Maws hit, my entire unit was wiped out. The Thresher Maws, the scientists were studying them. They let them hit our unit just to watch. I woke up in a holding cell. The scientists were delighted I'd survived. Now they had someone to run tests on.
What kind of tests are we talking about?
You can't believe Toombs. He doesn't have any proof. I demand a fair trial.
Ever had Thresher Maw acid in your veins? I have. They wanted to see what it would do. They treated me like a lab animal. I only escaped because somebody destroyed Cerberus, their big organization. This is justice. This man deserves to die. So, are you going to kill me or not?
Interestingly, the person they were talking about there as having destroyed Cerberus, that was me! We did that! Which is pretty cool. You have a lot of options here. You can shoot Tombs. You can let Tomb, which is the kind of shooting one, the go-ahead, let Tomb shoot the Doctor. Let me do it if you're a horrible bastard. I haven't got enough Renegade points for that. Would mean you shoot the Doctor on Tombs' behalf, which is unusual. But I'm going to use the charm option, which results in some slightly unusual dialogue. You'll see what I mean afterwards.
You're better than this, Tombs. You're not like them.
Don't tell me who I am. You got away with a few scratches and a scary reputation. The rest of the unit died, and I was tortured for years, Shepard. You can't judge me. You don't have the right.
We swore an oath when we put on this uniform. Would our unit want revenge or justice?
Hadn't thought of it like that. Okay. I'm no murderer. They couldn't make me one. Just as long as he goes to trial. Maybe the screaming will stop now. I don't know.
Those bastards can't hurt you anymore. Joker, tell the Fifth Fleet we need a ship for pickup.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Tomb stares morosely at the floor, lost in his memories. You give the scientist a shove towards the door. Your mission is complete. The Alliance courts will take it from here. And there's a slightly unusual thing there you will have noticed. So basically, this is another mission like the Father Kyle one that plays into your background if you chose the right one. Specifically, if you had the Sole Survivor one, of basically, if you had the Sole Survivor background, your unit was attacked by a Thresher Maw and you were the only survivor from it. Except for Tombs, apparently. But if you use the charm option there, regardless of what your background is, the dialogue assumes you are a Sole Survivor. So that's why they suddenly start talking about our unit and stuff like that. And it's a slightly odd glitch, but there's no actual alternate dialogue. Like, it was just never programmed in that the charm option will always assume that you are a Sole Survivor, even though I, for example, am a war hero. Anyway, there's some Palladium there, and then there's one final mineral deposit all the way over to the west. Did not intend to approach that quite as manically as we did. Can we get off the gold for a sec? I actually want to survey it. So yes, if you hadn't guessed from all that, there is a deposit of gold here, but there's one more thing. It's not marked on the map because it's just right here anyway. And this is an Easter egg overlooked by a lot of people. Deposit of gold, which is one of my all-time favourite things in this game. So we're in the middle of a space cow herd here, if you remember these dudes. It gives you the option to talk, but you can't. And then there's this one, on this ridge. The shifty-looking cow. And indeed, if you walk up to it, it gives you the option to talk. You can't do anything. But if you turn away from it, your credits start going down. Look back at it, and it stops. Shifty looking cow indeed. And there's a fun story behind this. This is a quote from one of the project directors is this: I love the history of a shifty cow Easter egg. When the character artist designed the space cow with 2 extra arms, Preston, our lead director, was a little creeped out. His comment was, "You can't trust any animal that can milk itself. Those extra hands looked so grabby." So Preston came up with the idea of the shifty cow. Turn your back on him and those creepy little hands go to work. Kiss those credits goodbye. It's so out of nowhere and it's really easy to miss because obviously you wouldn't kind of look for it here. It dies really easily, but even killing it, you will never get those credits back. They're just gone for good, but it only siphons them really slowly. And it's just a slightly daft Easter egg. But anyway, that's us finished here on Enterom. So let's head back to the Normandy.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
I reviewed your report on the situation, Commander. I'm glad to see you were able to take Dr. Wayne in alive. Now we can put him on trial and get some answers. Corporal Toombs seems to have found some closure. Hopefully with therapy, he'll have a normal life again someday. Thank you again for your assistance, Commander. Fifth Fleet out.
So, there's one more side quest I want to get done in this, and it's going to be a relatively short one. Much shorter than that, because it doesn't actually involve an uncharted world. So let's go to the Gemini Sigma cluster and the Ming system. So as ever, we're going to start with some brief scanning. There's Altanorch, which is one of my favourite names. It's a relatively boring looking planet, but Altanorch, I really like the sound of this. And scans revealed something of interest in a debris field. Joker brought the Normandy in close, and a small team was able to retrieve some valuable detritus, including a League of One medallion. Is that all the League of One medallions now, or is there one more left? That's either our 11th or our 12th medallion. We've got all the tags already. Anyway, there's also Parag here, which when scanned gives us a large deposit of titanium. In terms of the collections, we're really getting towards the end now because we've only got like 5 side quests left to do in the whole game, which is cool. Anyway, this is what we're going for here, the MSV Worthington. This quest is not given to you by anyone. You can never obtain it anywhere. You just get it by kind of coming here. The ship appears to be in a shutdown state, and the main thrusters are cold, and it's adrift off the orbit of Antiropus. Now, this is a fairly kind of non-standard mission.
Looks like this vessel was abandoned.
Everything's shut down. Only basic life support is working.
In terms of, it's more of a kind of investigative mission than an actual, like,
Did you hear that? Sounded like footsteps.
than a kind of standard combat-based one.
No accident. The whole place could be a trap.
So there are these fusion containment cells that when you get near them explode. Not much of a threat to us, but they can be slightly problematic if you're a much lower level character, but we're not a much lower level character. We are what level we are. Anyway, there's these kind of like 3 points here, as you can see on the map, so let's start by going to this one. And there is, well, there's a secure storage locker for one, so of course first thing we should do is loot that. Nothing particularly useful.
They say Jacob's gone. They say his brain isn't functioning anymore, and they want to shut off his machines. But Jacob's the only thing in the world that matters to me. I don't know how to help him, and it's tearing me up inside. I just feel so helpless. So damn angry. Dr. Smith gave me some meds to calm down, but I didn't take them. I can't. Not until I figure out a way to help Jacob. I won't give up on him. I won't.
So that gives us a bit of a kind of idea of what's gone on here, and basically the rest of this mission is basically piecing together what happened from the logs. So if we come through into the kind of the cockpits, then we get a bit more of an insight.
Jacob is showing no signs of brain activity. There's nothing more we can do for him. He wouldn't want to be kept alive by machines, so we're going to disconnect the life support. Dr. Smith is worried about Julia's reaction, though. She can't seem to let Jacob go. The stress is making her implants flare up, causing intense migraines. It'll probably be easier for everyone if we don't tell her until after we shut the life support down. Give her a chance to... Julia, what are you doing here? Why are you...
Oh, that's a terrible scream sound effect. Whoa! It's almost as bad as the kind of the Wilhelm scream. Anyway, if we come through here, here is where the final log is, which is over here.
Jacob's not going to make it. His brain was deprived of oxygen for too long. There's nothing any of us can do for him now except let him die with dignity. It's what he would want. I'm more worried about Julia now. She's showing signs of severe depression. I gave her some meds that should help, but I better warn the captain.
And then kind of, yeah, you know what the story is from there, pretty much. Here is Jacob on the life support machine, and when we activate the life support machine, well, examine it, a strange glitch happens. Note there's an enemy on the map. There is Julia. What's supposed to happen is she's not supposed to attack you in terms of the game until after you've activated the life support machine, but she just appears when you approach it, and if you examine it, she starts...
Looks like that machine is keeping him alive.
I'm not seeing any brain activity on the readouts. He's dead. This body is just an empty shell.
Basically, during this conversation, Julia comes up and attacks you. She's supposed to do it afterwards, but it's a very oddly glitched mission, this one. But anyway, you have the choice to either don't do anything or to turn off the machine. And since, yeah, he's dead and the body's an empty shell, it's for the best in terms of dignity.
No point in leaving him there like a vegetable.
It's your decision, Shepard. But maybe we should wait until we know more about what's going on before we do anything.
And of course, here would be the logical time for Julia to attack, but the mission's kind of bugged. Anyway, let's turn the machine off.
You did the right thing, Shepard.
And that concludes that very kind of short quest that's just kind of... It's more just something to think about than actually a particularly challenging quest. But yeah, that was... I think it's called Lost Freighter or something like that. Anyway, let's head... We've got a few minutes. Let's head back to the Normandy for a conversation to finish up. And I think this time we will go for chat with Ashley to end off.
Commander?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure. I was just watching some mail from home.
Oh, before I go, we saw Caden in a news vid about the Normandy. He's cute. Later, sis.
Let's pretend this never happened.
Are you interested in the lieutenant, Chief?
Fraternization is against regulations, ma'am. Don't ask, don't tell. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially. With Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
I was an only child, but I get the idea. At least one of my parents was always on duty.
Yeah, military families, eh? With schedules like that, it's a wonder we ever have kids anymore. Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Sounds like a story. Feel like sharing?
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did, Mike. I didn't think he was a bad kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vid mails, and I'd tell her to relax.
If he really liked her, he wouldn't be pushy.
Yeah, of course. If he didn't ask at all, I'd wonder if he thought Sarah was ugly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Mike thought they'd go for a romantic walk in the woods, because he figured it was past time they did the deed. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense. I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
Did anything happen while you were home?
My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. He wasn't happy. I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this let me handle it, I need to do this alone look. She kept her cool, God bless her, as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her. I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk, and there's blood everywhere.
That's unbelievable. Sarah must be as good as you.
Better. I'm more or less a straight-up puncher. When he swung, she wasn't there anymore, and he fell. She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell. Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was gonna end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying. And she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
Your sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all. Was he on deployment?
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I've enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone. For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments.
I never thought I'd hear you reciting poetry.
Just because I can drill you between the eyes at 100 meters doesn't mean I can't like sensitive stuff. Just don't spread it around. Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem. Every time he shipped out, he recorded me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
Does he still like it?
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave every time I go home. Dad passed on a few years back. He's probably still watching, though.
You mean from wherever we go after death?
Dead on, Skipper. He's with God now. That's not a problem with you, is it? That I believe in God?
Your beliefs are your business. I'm your commanding officer, not your moral compass.
I appreciate that, Skipper. I should get back to my duties. Didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
Dismissed, Chief.
Ma'am?
For me, that particular conversation is interesting because that's one of very few references to religion, well, to actual real-life religion that's in this kind of series, because there's like each culture like have their own religions, so stuff like the Enkindlers that are the Protheans, that the Hanar worship and stuff like that, but there are very few references to like Christianity and real world religions, but that's kind of amongst them there, which is quite interesting for that reason alone. But anyway, we've done a couple of side quests this episode, and next episode I hope to do a chain of, I'm going to try and do 3 side quests I think in one episode, so that's going to be certainly an action-packed episode, so I hope you'll join me for that. I've been the Doctor with the Infamous Gentleman, and this has been Mass Effect. Thank you very much for watching, and good day.